And we're live. Here's Todd Farber, Aggie Horticulturist.
Hey, howdy.
I did it again. It's going to start on being funny, but I can't seem to get the technical parts right. But anyway, we're here and welcome in. It's March 21st, right?
Ides of March, right?
And welcome in to the Gulf Coast Garden Q&A. We just finished up on Instagram. Let me make sure I've got microphone on. And we are live. Yes, I can see that now. Anyway, welcome in.
Oh, there's a viewer.
There's a viewer. So obviously every week we're here at 7:30 on Facebook. Drop us a landscaping or gardening question or lawn question or question of what to cook for dinner, and I'll answer that one. Anyway, drop us your questions and we'll get to those in a little bit. We will do a makeover of the week. You did a front yard in Sienna.
We did.
And we will do a plant that we recommend, a little flower. I think it's a flower, but I guess it's a small, you said it's a perennial, so perennial. I've got some questions that were typed out today from our friends on Facebook. 3 different ones specifically that are interesting that we'll go over. And anything that y'all bring to the table, obviously, we will go over that too. And then we'll just chat. So we've got 2 folks watching and some comments, but we'll go ahead and talk. So I was saying earlier, the big thing for this week is that we're very behind the times on things, guys. So I finally got myself a more current phone.
Because she broke the other one.
Because I broke the other one. This is the first time I've ever had a phone like the bigger size. My other one was a little, well, anyway, we're way back there. I was in an iPhone 6, I think.
I still do stuff on paper.
So this is my first, I'll call it fancy phone. We still bought it used. We bought it refurbished, but I'm happy with it. I'm learning how to use it. It's got the double camera, so I thought that would be good for all the videos that we're doing of this guy. So the last one we were talking about, and it was an iPhone 6. I mean, it was time for it to go, but we use them up. I took it out of its case, my last one, to videotape you.
Yes.
And I was talking to him on the side of the driveway.
Butterly fingers.
And I dropped it without the case. Boom. Shattered everywhere.
That's why you have to have a case.
Yeah, well, I took it off.
Well, I know you never take it off, but you did it to videotape me, so it cost me a new camera.
I mean, a new phone. Anyway, but it's refurbished. I think these refurbished phones are great, guys. I don't know if y'all ever do that, but we don't lease them or anything like that.
Pay cash.
Cash, baby, on the Bear Hut. Oh, something else we paid cash for this week.
Yeah, we got you a new ride.
I got me a new ride, guys. And
because this one opened his mouth on the way back from the farm and said, "Hey, what about this?" And this one,
I went out and found something
within a day. Says that's how she rolls.
That's how I roll. I roll fast. You keep up with me. You have to get up early. Anyway, I found. We thought it was a blessing.
There it is.
Anyway, we've been talking about it for a while because one of our other kiddos is going to need my older Acura, and we have older guys. Our stuff is old and paid for. It's all good. Anyway, I poked around a little and we were kind of looking at Volvo, and that didn't work out because too much of like a sunshade thing at the top, and I can't stand that much sun. Anyway, long story short, if y'all are listening, ended up in an Acura MDX SUV.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I've never even ridden anyway, I drove it. I looked at it and I knew right away.
Oh, yeah, smooth like butter.
Smooth, and the mileage is low. It must have been owned by Granny. She must have driven it to the IGA and then driven it to church, and that was it. And if you don't know what IGA is, well, you can just message me and see what it is. It's a grocery store.
Hey, we're cranking them in tonight. We got 2.
I got 2 comments. Anyway, that was just a little intro. This is Todd Farber, Aggie Horticulturist. I have to practice that. It's a very hard thing to say. Anyway, welcome in. Oh, I got my... The world may never know.
And I got mine. It's black.
He wears black every week because that makes it easy, keeps the marriage sane. Let's see if we have any comments, any things. Probably just hi. There's Mike. Hi, Mike. Thank God for Mike.
Hey, Mike. Good evening. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Good evening. Yay. All right, let's go. I think what I will do is go ahead and start this popular questions of the week. I've got some questions that came in on Facebook. We did these on Instagram, but the Facebook people haven't seen it. So we have a question from Michelle Griggs, who's actually one of our clients for a long time. This is the question. Why is it that I can plant a row of bushes or flowers and they'll be completely healthy, but then one of them just dies, usually in the middle? How can a plant only 10 inches away from another just die? I call it the missing tooth syndrome. I think that's funny. If I replace it, then the replacement is much smaller and it looks odd. What's your answer?
So, with not looking at the area and just going on a generalization of the question, something's going on in that particular space. There may be some roots underneath it from a tree in the yard. It may be getting inadequate watering, that particular spot from the sprinkler, because a lot of times you got a sprinkler head on this side and a sprinkler head on this side, and they don't meet in the middle, so to speak. So it may not be getting enough water.
Okay.
It could be a number of things, but if you have to replace it, obviously your replacement plant's going to be smaller if you already have an established.
Right. And you
plant.
said earlier when we were on Instagram that it's probably a site visit, a site visit issue. You would need to see it.
Yeah, because every house and every situation is different. But you can generalize sometimes and give somebody an idea.
Kind of look around. So that's that. I like that she called it the missing tooth syndrome.
Yeah, that's cute.
And sometimes you're right. I mean, if you lose a plant or a flower, then you just have to put another plant in and wait for it to grow in, or how do you?
Well, yeah, I mean, when people invest in their plants, obviously it's hard-earned money, but you have to remember at the end of the day, plants are a perishable commodity.
Right. We talked about that when it freezes.
They're not all perfect. You may buy 10 plants and 9 of them may have a really strong root system, but they all look the same, and you may have a weaker one that, for whatever reason, it's just a weak plant. And over the first couple of weeks, it does fine, and then it slowly demises.
Right.
What would be?
Demises?
Not demises. Slowly demise? Declines
would be the word. Yeah, I've seen that before. We'll have a client will send us a picture. I mean, it's not often, but it's a physiological problem with the plant, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes. And there's nothing that we can do about that.
So
we'll just go replace it for the client.
Go replace it. But very rarely do you buy 10 plants and have 10 bad ones. When you buy quality nursery stock, that just doesn't happen.
We did have a client this week that got upset because the rabbits ate some of her plants. That was sad.
Yeah, well, nature happens.
Speaking of rabbits or nature, I have a question from Land Fam. We'll go back to this one.
Okay.
Second question. Now, Land Fam did a great job of sending me, hopefully she sees this. She did a superior job of sending me this picture. Hopefully, and it's on Facebook. So these are her. Tell me the name of this plant. Gomphrena. And the blue circles, guys, are where the buds have been chewed off.
Nipped in the bud, as they say.
Hey, that's my favorite show. Nip it in the bud.
Yep.
Nip it in the bud. All right. Oh, that's so good, dear. You did so good with that. Nip it in the bud.
Yes, ma'am.
Lan Fam asks, Garden Guy, say, I'm listening.
I'm listening.
Yes. I have several bushes of
Gomphrena.
Every year, some creature nips off the blooms, just the blooms. And literally, she sent me the best pictures that literally just nips the blooms off perfectly, right at the base of the flower. Whatever the creature is, it eats some of the petals, but then it leaves it on the ground or in the bushes. Her question is phrased very well. What might the creature be? So once again, I'm going to show you all these Gomphrena. There they are. And you can see the missing. And Todd has deduced.
Hey, I like that word. That was actually my word, by the way.
All right, fine.
It's a squirrel doing squirrel things.
Doing squirrels. So Land Fam is probably a squirrel.
There may be some nectar or something at the base of that flower that the squirrel has found, and that's why it damages it the way it does. Gets its little sip of nectar or whatever it finds and leaves the flower bud laying there at the base of the flower.
Oh my goodness. And I asked Todd why, and he's like, because squirrels do things like that. Like, yeah, that's...
You've all seen squirrels do squirrely things.
They squirrely things. Ha ha. All right, third question, and then I'll see what comments y'all have. Jane Gray. Which evergreen shrubs have lived through the last 2 hard freezes? This is a great question and a great tip for people.
One is Clayera japonica, and another is Yopon holly. And a third and a fourth would be Clarissa holly and Burford holly. And none of those 4 have even slightly had any freeze damage.
Super. So tell me one more time.
Clayera, dwarf Yopon holly, Burford holly, and Clarissa holly.
Okay, good. Then that answers Jane's question. Oh, there was one more question about gravel. Do you remember what that one was exactly?
Yeah, the question. Oh,
go ahead. You do it.
Basically, was how much gravel do I need off my foundation before I start my plant row? And we usually, if we do it at a house, we usually put between 8 and 12 inches of gravel
between the
foundation and the bed.
Okay. And then you start your planting.
And then we started planting. But you want to remember, you need to have something to hold the bed in. So we run a piece of bender board edging, which is the back part of the bed, put some underlayment landscape fabric down so the gravel has something to sit on. Or if not, you're going to continue to put gravel year after year because it's just going to sink into the ground and dirt's going to cover it. So it's a multi-step process, but you can do it at home for you DIYers.
Yeah.
DIY?
That was good. You said DIYers.
Yeah.
You're a dyslexic. DIYers.
DIY?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, what did I say?
DIYers.
Hey.
I like it.
But hey.
Last week I did worse, for sure. All right. So that was, I think, Susan on Facebook. Yeah. I mean, yeah. All right. So that's those 3. That's good. That's good for people to know. Let me take that off. Now I'm going to go and see if we have any questions. Oh, Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Here, Lan's here. Hi, Lan. So we answered your question. I guess you heard it. The weakest link. Oh, the squirrel, I guess. So, Lan, if you weren't listening, Todd says he's pretty sure that you've got a squirrel or a couple squirrels that are precisely coming in and nipping it in the bud. As Barney would say on Andy Griffith's show. Yeah, nipping that bud right off, and there must be a little something in there that they like, and then they spit it out.
Yeah.
Because the second picture that you sent, Lan, I don't have that one printed out, but it's here on Facebook. You could see she did a great job with the pics. So the first picture that she sent was this one, and the second picture that Lan sent me was all the buds that were on the ground. So you'd think that whatever was eating it would just eat the bud, but they don't. They just chomp it off.
Yeah.
And they, like you said, there must be something sweet right there that they want, and then they're done with it. So that's your answer, Lan. I don't know what to do to help you, but at least now you know what's going on. So thanks for asking that, and thanks for joining us tonight. I think this is the first time, Lan, that you've joined us. So thank you for coming.
Hey, Joni. Good evening.
Hi, Joni. How's it going? Good to see you here. Oh. No, I meant the one bush died among the bushes. Oh, yes, Lan, you're right. You're right. It could be.
Yeah,
you're right. I see what you're commenting on. I'm sorry. I didn't understand you. Yeah, I guess it is the weakest. It certainly could be. I mean, like he said, it could be physiological damage to the plant. But I think Michelle Briggs, it sounds like Griggs, sorry. I think she's having an issue in the same area over and over. Could she have a soil? Is that the right word? I didn't say dirt.
Well, no, it's probably an irrigation issue or a root or something under there that's causing that.
In that same area. Yeah. True. Yeah, I got you, Lan. I got you. Got you. Super. All right. Well, I'm going to hop on over. Thank y'all for joining us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and hop over to, if I can find it. Give me just a second, guys. We're going to do the plant of the week, or the recommended plant of the week. It's going to be Mexican heather. And I'm going to pop that on. It's a quick little video, and then we'll talk about it just a little bit. But Garden Guy recommends this week Mexican heather. We're back. That was just a short video I put together about Mexican heather. It's also a Texas superstar plant, which always seems to be popular with y'all. And I did put it on the blog. Not that many people read it, but it's up there. Anyway, Mexican heather there's actually a certain, I don't have the name of it. I didn't print it out, but the Aggie horticulture people have a certain cultivar of that one that they like a certain, I don't know, I didn't get that name, but if you want to be that specific, but talk to me about Mexican heather. The Mexican
heather is grown usually in your garden to take the Texas heat. Doesn't do well in the freezes. It will freeze back, and if you allow it and give it time, maybe it grows back, but not in the sense that you had it the year before. And it's cheap enough to replace if you
Mhm.
really like it that much that you're going to take your frozen plant out and plant a new one. But it does wonders in the heat. Doesn't need a whole lot of water, and therefore is named a Texas superstar just for those two reasons. There's other benefits of the plant as well. The bees like it. It's got a good nectar that they enjoy.
Mhm.
It's compact. You can use it in front of a bed, use it in pots, use it around areas that may not get a whole lot of water.
This is Mexican Heather. If you're just joining us, this is Todd Farber, Aggie horticulturist,
And it has
Sugarland's #1 residential landscaper. Keep going.
It has a flower that's always in bloom. The flowers are so small that you would never see it go out of bloom. So
That's nice. And do you like to use them in pots or arrangements?
they tend to get oversized in pots where they're going to choke something out.
Okay.
They'll look good
Yeah.
at first, like a lot of plants do, because the size is small from the nursery.
Mhm.
But please read your label and see what the optimal
See how
size
big
of a
it's gonna
plant.
be.
Just so you don't end up doing things twice.
I got you.
Put it in an area of your garden where it's going to get enough space and enough sunlight and air circulation and all that kind of good stuff.
It's a pretty purple.
It is.
I like it.
Just a little bitty flower.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them make big impact.
Right. Let's see what Joni has to say. Mine always come back. Oh, hers come back. Mexican Heathers. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I didn't say they wouldn't. I said they might.
Oh, I don't know what you said. I thought you said they wouldn't. Don't get sassy
Hey,
with me on this live video.
I'm just saying.
All right, now, Lan. Good. I'm so glad that Lan is with us because she's asking great questions. Do you recommend to cut back the Mexican Heather mid-season, and how much?
I would not unless you see that they're struggling to bloom. But all the ones that we have up at our farm are the ones we use in a landscape. I've never really seen them struggle.
So don't cut them.
I wouldn't cut them.
Lan, don't cut it. There you go.
Cut them late in the season, maybe if you want to, after they.
Like trimming it up, like maintaining it, I guess.
Mhm.
Okay. What's late in the season? Like what month would that be?
Maybe late August, and
Okay.
then so they can refresh their blooms for the fall.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
A
Lan.
lot of times perennials get tired, just like people do. But you can't cut people back. But you can cut.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, well.
Oh, well, we don't talk about that.
I do need a haircut, so
you
yeah.
do need a
I
haircut, dude. You do need it, but do you know who cuts his hair?
this one.
I do. I cut it because the last time the lady she.
Oh my gosh! Do you want to go down that path?
Well, I don't
All
have
right.
anything else
So
to talk
one of
about.
my sons gave me a gift certificate to one of the fancy haircut places for men. Whip-de-doo.
That's funny.
So I went. I wasn't going to be rude to use my kid's gift certificate.
And it's a nice place. I mean, a lot of people enjoy it.
So they cut my hair, and she's like, "Well, I'm going to trim your beard." Well,
Hold on. So
all
the
right,
problem is the hair was fine, but this lady messed with the sacred, the beard. The beard. Thank you, Lan. I'm glad that you were here. You're welcome. And hi, Alice.
Hey,
we're
hi.
talking about Todd's beard. Okay, so for me, it's very important.
my wife.
And
yes.
when he came home, I was very angry because for whatever reason, this woman took it upon herself, and she literally cut his beard like in a V, like he was a biker.
I was a biker.
And she told him that this was a current style and this is what he needed, and she just literally did it. No, you don't do that to people.
No,
You
don't.
you don't cut Garden Guy's beard like that.
Needless to say, she's my hairdresser now, and
So,
she doesn't mess with the
I
beard.
do it, and I don't mess with the beard. That's right, and then I get to have it the way I like it.
Absolutely.
And it's free.
It really
Price
did
is
look
right.
bad. It looked like a freaking biker.
I'm
Never been on a
great.
motorcycle in my life, and it's like, that's not my look.
No.
She goes, but it's the latest trend. It's like, not my trend.
But that doesn't mean that it's your trend just because it's the latest.
Well, first of
trend.
all, she said, I'm just going to trim off a little. I was like, okay. She's a hairdresser. She said she's been doing it for a while.
Right.
Well, her little bit turned into this.
Yeah. Y'all know how that is when you get a bad hairdresser.
You know what's even worse is when a tree trimmer says they're going to just trim your trees, and you come home from work and they've butchered your trees.
Well,
and
that's
you're like,
true. We can get back into landscape. Yeah, right, Kathy. Hands off the beard. I'll handle that. It's my
It's her
husband.
bit, yeah.
That's my baby.
Anyway,
No, let's talk about landscaping. But you know what? I'm going to say something about my husband's beard. Other men admire my
That's
husband's
true.
beard. We're out, and these are just regular dudes, and they're like, "Hey, dude, love the beard."
absolutely.
You know, we'll just be anywhere where they're like, "Hey, bro, love the beard." So it's like a bro love thing.
Bromance.
Oh, yeah,
that-
yeah, they love it. So it's a thing. Anywho, All right, hands off the beard. Oh, go ahead and talk about tree trimming. This is something we can chat about. If y'all have any questions, type them in. But yeah, go ahead.
So I was chatting with my client today, and we were talking about tree care and how many times have people had a tree trimmer come out / yard man that says they can trim their trees, and they leave it in the yard man's hands, and they come home from work and literally their tree is butchered, limbs are missing. And these are beautiful live oak trees, and these guys are not arborists. They're not even good tree trimmers. They're yard guys, and they butcher their trees, and it takes years for these trees to recover if they do at all.
Yeah, that's worse than the beard problem. That really is bad. And Todd's told me stories of beautiful trees. People come home, and there's not a stinking thing you can do once the limbs are cut off.
So my tree guy, Gomez Trees, has been cutting trees for me for over 20 years.
He's great.
And his guys are sculptors. I never have to be on a job when either I subcontract him out or he talks to the homeowner directly. And what a great experience the clients that have worked with him and myself over the years. And the horror stories, which this customer I was talking to today had her own. And the conversation kind of morphed into who do you use? And so for that, he does excellent work, and other companies around town, but people.
Mike said, this is true. This is what you're saying. Thanks, Mike, for saying that. That's a good point. They should be done where you can't really tell that it's been trimmed. And that's right on the money, Mike. That's a good comment. I like that.
Don't let your yard guy in your trees.
Right? No, and Mike's right. And Todd's saying the same thing. When they've been trimmed and thinned properly, they look beautiful.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't drive up and gasp. Because if you come home,
And I've had clients tell me they've driven up to their house and they had to back up and take a double take. It's like, am I at the right house? Because their trees were completely
bad,
decimated.
Yeah, so it's important to. I think there's some things in life that you pay more for. Eye surgery.
Yeah,
I don't want any coupons for that. Tree trimming. Hey, it's my opinion. You agree? There's some things that you want to pay. I'm not saying overpay, but I think that some things need to be paid for so that they can be done well the first time professionally.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my take on that. So I always say you don't want to get a coupon for LASIK.
No.
You want to go ahead and pay more for that, guys. Just my opinion. Just your eyes. You want to get that done right the first time, right? All right, let's hop over, and I'm going to show you the makeover of the week. Let me go over here and find it. Well, do y'all remember? I'm going to show you the backyard. We did the front yard of this one today. Here's the back.
To be daring, baby, dance the night away. I let my head down if I want. Don't you just get tired chasing fame and being pretty all the time? Doesn't sound like fun. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. You can do better. Let me show you what a good time looks like. You can do better. I dare you to be wilder.
And we're back. Here we are. Mike's back on. So that was, if y'all have been following us, and I can see kind of the same people come see us every week. So thanks for coming back again, guys. That is the lady who had the unfortunate neighbor who has the batting cage. My goodness. And then the metal bats, that whole thing. So Todd put in the Eagleston Hollies, and she loves it, right?
Loves it.
It looks beautiful in the video. And then today you did her front yard. So talk about that a little.
So this was in the works from the time that we finished her backyard scheduling, getting everything lined up. And we were supposed to do it last week, but she had an impromptu invite to go out of town. So we rescheduled her and got her done today. And she loves her front yard now as much as she loves the back. But she told me today that she wakes up every morning and she opens the screen on her back windows to see what new perennials are blooming. And she had her first hummingbird yesterday drop by.
That's great. That's great. They're probably migrating now too.
They're starting to migrate.
Yeah. Well, the makeover looks great. Kathy likes it. Mike says, right, doorbell ringers have asked to trim the tree. Only the week before. Yeah. Pretty much don't hire the doorbell ringer.
No.
Usually they also clean houses and that's fine. I mean, I love hard work and hard work.
Oh, and make sure your arborist tree company is insured and bonded.
Yeah, that's
because you don't want one of those guys falling out of the tree on your watch and then coming back and suing you.
That's
so
true.
It's important to check their credentials. And
that's true.
It's a whole different ballgame when you leave the ground and you start doing work up above your head.
And that's crazy
and
what they climb up the trees.
And the way they drop those branches down, and they could fall in the house, a whole bunch of different variables. So make sure they're covered. I mean, as a homeowner, you are covered for damage to your house, but you don't want to hire somebody that is not covered, especially for a specialized profession, which that is.
Right. Kathy said she saw you see it a lot. We notice it because of what Todd does for a living. You drive even in neighborhoods and you see trees and you just can tell that either the homeowner was up there doing it or somebody that shouldn't have been doing it was doing it. So yeah, I like Mike's comment. The tree trimming should be done where you can't really tell it's been trimmed. Yeah. And, like I said, you get what you pay for the most part, this sort of thing, kind of like with haircuts or beard cutting. Yeah, exactly. Well, if y'all have any more questions for us tonight, drop them for me. I'm going to see if I have anything else
what
for
else
you.
We got?
Well, we did the Mexican heather. We showed the front yard. I honestly don't have another stinking thing. Recommend that. Y'all can tell me in the comments, because this is fun. Get your little interaction, because there's several of you watching. Tell me your favorite season of the year. I mean, where we live, the seasons are kind of questionable, aren't they? But you can type in the comments for me, and we can talk about it for a minute. What's your favorite season, mister?
The one that comes after the one we're currently in.
Summer?
Oh, I don't know, just in general. So if we're like in fall, my next favorite season is winter. And if we're in winter, it's spring. Next one.
You're just always looking for the next season?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Just kidding.
I was like, what? What is your favorite season?
No, my favorite season is fall, but we don't really have fall in Houston. So I guess it's kind of summer.
Hunting season?
Yeah, hunting season.
Hunting season is his favorite season.
Yeah, that would be.
I think that's true.
My favorite season.
Let's see what. Yeah. Okay, so that y'all know what everybody.
Well, Mike, you actually have fall up there in Dallas.
That's true. So Alice said fall. Mike says fall, and Mike actually gets fall. Houston doesn't get it. Yeah, and Joni said fall. Absolutely. No, fall is so nice, isn't it? Springtime, I think, is nice here in Houston. I enjoy it. It's warming up a little bit. It's not too hot.
I don't think it lasts as long as we would like it to, because we get a few weeks and then we're in.
It's just like 100.
It's on.
Right? Just about 100. Yep. It gets very hot. Absolutely. All right. Let's go down to. Lan has another question. Oh, good. We just talked about Tangerine Crossvine last week. Lan Fam. I just bought a Tangerine Crossvine to climb up a repurposed queen-size bed frame. Ooh, that's cool.
Well, that would look pretty.
That's fun. I'd like to see a picture of that, Lan, when you get that done. I hope that there's room. I mean.
Oh, yeah.
So
you would just need to, once it starts and you start trellising it around the, bed frame, just trim it accordingly, but it'll do its thing on its own.
That's good. I need to turn this one off.
The thing about the Tangerine Crossvine is not to try to tame it. Let it do its thing, and that's when it looks the prettiest.
That'll be really pretty, Lan. I hope you'll send us some pictures of that, or post them on Facebook. Hope I'm not getting tongue-tied again like I did last week. Anyway, Lan, I like that idea. I'd love to see some pics of that. Yeah, spring before it gets too hot. I agree, Kathy. I like springtime here before it gets too hot, and I enjoy it. Well, if y'all have any more questions, go ahead and drop them now, because I'm going to probably shut this down here in just a minute or so. And we will see y'all next week at the same time. No more questions. I'm glad that Lan joined us. That's new tonight. I mean, she's new tonight. That's not new. She's a person, not a thing. Anyway, thank y'all for joining us one more time here on Facebook. And she said she'll send us a picture if she doesn't kill it. I don't think you will. Pretty hard to kill, huh?
Yeah.
Tangerine cross. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight for the garden conversation with Todd Farber, Aggie horticulturist and Sugar Land's #1 residential landscaper. We appreciate
y'all.
I'm being tongue-tied again. We appreciate y'all being with us on Tuesdays, and we look forward to seeing y'all again next week. Good night.
Hey, it's Pablo and Alma Sanchez. Thanks, Pablo.
Oh, wait. Hold on. Hi, Pablo Sanchez.
Hey, glad to see you, man. How's the family?
I'm staying on. I didn't sign off yet.
We're still here.
I'm going to stay. Yeah, Pablo, you have to, you're welcome, Lan. Join us again next week. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to stay on just for Pablo.
Hope the boys are doing well. I just saw a picture of a nice axis buck that Sergio's wife.
He said all good.
Harvested, I guess, last week.
That's cool. Well, that's good. I'm glad you commented.
Absolutely. Glad to see some old friends.
Glad to see you. Glad to see you. All right, now I guess we'll end it.
Now, unless we got somebody else popping on at the last minute.
Wait. Nope, that's
it. Hey, Pablo, I love the beard, dude, if you're still rocking it, man. I wouldn't even recognize you out in public. Really. Completely changes the demeanor.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining the Gulf Coast Garden Conversation with Todd Farber, Aggie horticulturist. We'll see y'all here on Facebook, 7:30 p.m. next week. Good night.